Hello students. In the last session I had discussed about the SMTP protocol, that is the simple mail transfer protocol, and now in today's session I am going to share about this protocol called MIME, that is multi-purpose internet mail extension. Multi-purpose internet mail extension protocol, or MIME protocol. This protocol MIME is basically an extension or a supplementary protocol of SMTP. It provides a kind of enhancement over the SMTP. Right, so let us see what kind of supplement it provides. We can see that this protocol MIME is a supplementary protocol that allows non-ASCII data to be sent through the SMTP. Fine. So it is a protocol, supplementary protocol, that allows non-ASCII. This means that in the SMTP protocol only the ASCII data can be sent, whereas if we want to send non-ASCII data, then this additional protocol will be required, that is MIME. Fine, so let us understand that how this protocol MIME facilitates the non-ASCII data transfer as well. So this can be understood with the help of this diagram, this communication diagram. In this diagram we can see that we have on the basis we have the SMTP protocols, and above that we have the MIME protocol on both the sides, the sender as well as receiver. On both the sides we have the MIME protocol topped up over the SMTP protocol, right? This means now between the user and the SMTP protocol we have the MIME as a kind of interface in between. So let us see in this diagram that, say for example, on this side we have the user there, then we have the MIME, and then SMTP. So user is connected to MIME bidirectionally, then MIME to SMTP bidirectionally, SMTP to SMTP this side bidirectionally, then similarly the connectivity on this side. So in this it can be seen that the MIME interface is basically to accept the non-ASCII data or code also. The user can send some non-ASCII code or non-ASCII data, which after acceptance by the MIME interface, the MIME interface converts this into the 7-bit NVT ASCII data. That is, it is basically the ASCII data which is on the over the internet. This ASCII data is actually known as the 7-bit NVT ASCII data. NVT stands for, you can recall, Network Virtual Terminal. Fine. So, Network Virtual Terminal. So this is the format of the ASCII data over the internet. So in this form, this gets converted by MIME, comes to SMTP, say client side. It is suppose the client side and this is the server side. So on the SMTP client side, this 7-bit NVT ASCII code comes and this gets transferred to the other side, SMTP server side, and from there this gets to the MIME interface, and from the MIME interface this gets converted back into the non-ASCII form or the non-ASCII code, which can be accessed by the user on this site. Fine. So basically we can see that the MIME is acting as an interface and a converter from ASCII to non-ASCII and vice versa. Right? And all the links are bidirectional, so the communication can be bidirectional as well. So with this, you would have got an idea about that what this MIME protocol is and how does it function. Now after this, let us see few other protocols which are helpful in the process of mail access or the electronic mail. There are few delivery protocols over the basic mail protocol, that is SMTP. These delivery protocols are the protocols which are responsible about the mail delivery, the delivery of the mail at the receiving end. So under this category of delivery protocols, we have two types of the delivery protocols. One is called the post office protocol, abbreviated as POP3, POP3, and second one is the interactive mail access protocol, abbreviated as IMAP, interactive mail access protocol. So both of these we are going to see now. The POP3 was a very basic version and IMAP is enhancement over the POP3. So let us see both of these protocols one by one. The first one, that is the post office protocol or POP3. About this protocol we can see that this is a simple protocol used for fetching email from a remote mailbox. Right? So this protocol helps in fetching the emails from the remote position, remote mailbox. Right? So this is what we do in the process of email. So now we can see further that how the downloading of the email or fetching of the email takes place under the POP3. So as per the POP3 protocol, we can see with the help of this diagram, this communication diagram, that how the this working of POP3 takes place, downloading or fetching of the mail. It can be seen that on this side we are showing the POP3 server, or we call this as the mail server, POP3 server or the mail server. And on this side we are showing the user computer or the POP3 client. We have the client on this side and the server on this side. Fine. So in this, certain communication sequences have been shown, right? Say for example, this is the timeline downwards. Then we can see that the first action is by the POP3 client or the user computer. It sends the username and password to the server side. Username and password. This means that only the authorized users can have access to the mail. So for that purpose, we have the username and password being sent by the client to the server, which is verified by the server, and if it is accepted, if it is an authorized user, then the server side sends back say OK. OK means the user is authorized one. After this verification, now the client side is requesting for the list, that is the list of emails which have come. So this is requesting for the list to be sent. After receiving this request, the server will send the email numbers, or say emails, email IDs, email numbers, right? That is the email numbers or email IDs from where the mails have come for this particular user. This is sent to the client. Thereafter, the client can start seeing the individual mails. For that, say for example, the client here sends this request, retrieve the first message or the first mail. When this request to retrieve first mail comes to the server sends back this first mail. The first mail is given to the client, sent to the client, right? So in the same manner, the other mails, that is the second message, third message, etc., this can be seen in the same manner by the client. Say for example, at the last we are showing this client gives this request, retrieve the nth message, and the server sends back the nth email. Fine. So this POP3 we can see is actually a very very basic kind of the protocol. This was developed at quite early stages, and using this simple mail delivery happened. Now in this delivery protocol POP3, a lot of enhancements were required to be introduced, and with that objective another protocol came into picture, that is known as the IMAP version 4. Earlier we had seen POP version 3. POP version 3 is actually the most prevalent one, and similarly for IMAP, that is the Interactive Mail Access Protocol, version 4, that is IMAP 4, is practically most relevant one. So this IMAP 4 protocol is going to provide basically certain enhancements over the POP3 protocol, right? So regarding the IMAP 4, we can see what it is. This IMAP 4 is, we can see it is another mail access protocol similar to POP3, but has following extra features. Certain extra features have been added over POP3 in this protocol, and therefore we will have our focus on these extra features only, right? And most of the mailing apps which we are using nowadays are based on this IMAP 4. Let us see what extra features this protocol is going to provide. The first such extra feature is that user can check the header before downloading the mail. Fine. So this is the first one. This can be understood that a user can check the header before downloading. So before actually downloading a mail, the user can check the header of the mail, and from there it can see the relevance of the mail, and if the user feels like, then further he will download the mail. Otherwise this may be simply discarded or deleted, right? So this is an additional feature which is definitely very, very useful one, as we see that in our mailboxes we receive so many useless and not so useful mails, which just by seeing the header we may like to delete them. So for that purpose we have this first feature. Then we have the second feature, which is that user can check for the contents of email before downloading, right? So this also should be clear, that before actually downloading the complete email, the user can check for the contents, what contents it is carrying, right? So depending upon just having a look on the contents, the user can decide whether to go for the download or not. That is first thing. If it doesn't want to go for the download, then it may be deleted or it may be deferred for future, right? So this was the second feature. Then we have the third feature, that is called the partial download of the email. This partial download of the email is also possible, right? So this we can see that, for example, an email is having number of files with this. Of course, we can download partially the mail. So this was also facilitated by the IMAP. Then we can see the fourth feature, that is a user can create, rename or delete the mailboxes on the mail server. Right, so the user can create a mailbox, an account actually, rename the account and delete the account or mailbox on the mail server. The user can do so. This was facilitated by the IMAP. Then the last feature we have is that user can create a hierarchy of mailboxes in a folder for email storage. right? So in this we can see that for the purpose of storing the emails, the user can create the hierarchy, means the folders, various folders within the folders. This facility is provided by the IMAP for basically storing the emails as per their categories. So this has given you an idea about the IMAP 4 protocol. So with this we complete basically our discussion about the various kinds of the mail related protocols. And therefore in this session we end up over here, and in the next session we shall be seeing about some other protocol at the application layer. Thank you.